Right, cool. I don't know where we're going to start.
That's up to you.
I don't know. Well, okay. How long have we known each other now?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
When did we meet?
Because what I remember was that conversation we had when you interviewed me for Rave Report, right? Mm-hmm. And then we discussed a whole bunch of like subjects because I was in my garden in Crystal Palace.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's you used this word, you revealed.
Yeah.
You confessed to
came out.
You came out to being a woman of Jewish origin.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously I had no idea. And, you know, then we had this whole discussion and it sort of like led on and there was all the, you know, a little bit like how me and the Booty got chatting, you know, over the Wiley thing and over the, you know, like different aspects of stuff. And I think that's where I learnt from you about how, you know, after the Second World War, and I know we're jumping straight into it, but you know, out of the Second World War, you know, the Jewish community, when they went to America, they started getting certain industries, and that's why, you know, we have the situation that we have now. And that was the first time anyone had actually ever explained that shit to me, right? And it was enlightening. I was so grateful to know that, and then coupled with the conversation I had with Benny and with Abudi and everything else, and obviously they have different sort of takes on things. It sort of got me to the point where I am now, where I'm just like, just talk about it, you know what I mean? Just like, just have conversation. I just think that, like, you know, there was just mystery shrouding, you know.
Thank you so much for that, by the way, because like there's not many people who are actually interested in looking into the Jews.
Yeah, no.
To be honest, so it actually warms my heart. Like, thank you
totally.
so much.
No, totally.
It means a lot.
Yeah.
It really means a lot.
Yeah.
And the conversations you've had with different people, not just
100%.
one Jew,
no,
but like Jews from very different backgrounds.
Well, it's like we're the blacks and the Jews, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, we're all different, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, some people wouldn't even consider me black because I'm too posh, or, you know what I mean, or privately educated, which is just dumb and reductive. But, you know, there's that sort of like self-traumatic bullshit that we put on ourselves, and I've jokingly said that, you know, probably the most racist people against black people are black people, you know what I mean? Like, really. We do ourselves no favours sometimes. But at the same time, you know, it's not really something I'm afraid of having. I'm not afraid to have that discussion. You know, it's, you know, I just feel like we just got to get certain things out in the open and just try and sort of like pick through what's right, what's wrong, what's true, what's false, you know, what's good, what's bad, you know what I mean?
And raise awareness, because
100%.
I think a lot of Jews are very hush-hush about being Jewish.
Right.
Which is a privilege in itself.
Yeah.
A lot of us can hide it.
Yeah.
So the fact that we do hide it means that we're othering ourselves even more.
Right.
And we're making our, you know, people, we can be quite exclusive sometimes. So by continuing that and not talking about it and having these conversations, then it's just gonna perpetuate stereotypes. So because
it makes so that's what I mean. So then people go, oh yeah, see what they got to hide, do you know what I mean? Like almost like, you know what I mean?
It's because we have some level of shame, because we don't feel like, you know, we're quite hated. So like whenever I mean, exactly, or not, or maybe just feared, or a bit like resented. Which, like, I get, there's parts of it which I completely understand. So I
think that's the thing, because I think for some people it's like that thing of, it's like, well, it's all right. I can't hide my blackness.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I get that.
It's
absolutely right. Yeah. My experience has been infinitely easier because I'm white.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's true.
I don't know why that's funny to hear you say that, but like, even though I've heard you say it before, it is true. But it's like, you know.
So it annoys me when Jews do say that.
Yeah. What? Say what?
You know, that trying to compare blackness and Jewishness.
Yes.
Like, there's elements, but ultimately we've got, if you're white, not obviously there are black Jews, and we're going to get onto that. The diaspora of Jews is a lot more diverse than it's made out to be.
Yes, the Bruce said the same thing.
It absolutely is. But at the end of the day, if you're white, then you've got privilege, Jewish or not.
Well, that's the thing, and it's like, I mean, I don't want to just completely talk about it, because I do want to talk about Rape Report, actually.
No, it's more interesting.
No, but it's just like, because I do want to get onto that, but it is essentially how we met, because I didn't really know you before that, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure I'd seen you about, but I don't think I'd ever spoken to you. And that's probably because I'm just a bit racist. But no, I'm just sorry, fucking blonde white girls. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to talk to her. But no, I'm joking. I'm joking. For God's sake. But no, I mean, it has been a really interesting journey for me, and it's like I said. I mean, you know, I said, like, you know, well, we get. You know, we've got, you know, Diwali, you know, we know about Ramadan, we know about Chinese New Year, you know, I mean, there's no, you know, I mean, I guess, you know, it's not a religious festival as such, but there's like a celebration of culture in Nottingham Carnival, you know, the Afro-Caribbean thing, you know, there's pride, you know what I mean? There's so many different aspects of, you know, our culture that's celebrated in one way or another, like, you know, as a whole, and people get to see, you know, what it's about to be a part of the LGBTQ community, or to be, you know, part of the Afro-Caribbean community. But, like, there's no sort of, like, Jewish, like, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And I just wondered if, do you think that's something that could or would or should ever happen?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, well, so I watched this documentary which we've discussed. Jews Don't Count.
Jews Don't Count, yeah.
And it is all about this.
Yeah.
It's about the lack of representation of Jews.
Yeah.
And watching it, I can't lie, it made me really deep. The reality, like, I think I've internalized a lot of anti-Semitism myself.
Right. Okay.
Because I didn't even think about it myself.
Yeah.
The lack of representation of the Jews.
Yeah. But some people would say, well, you are represented in loads of ways. You've got, I don't know, whoever, whatever, I mean. But then, when you say lack of representation, what do you mean? Like how, like saying I'm Jew and proud almost?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And just, you know, about our religion and our practices, and, you know, in the conversation, it's not really, we're not really considered, you know, like discriminated against minority, even though we are. But probably the most privilleged. Minority. So that's where it becomes quite paradoxical, and that's where I've got a very interesting relationship with it, with my own privilege. Being white and Jewish. It's complicated. And watching that documentary made me cry so much, because it made me deep so much. But if anyone's watched it, like,
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch it. I promise. I will do.
Okay, just in case anyone has watched it, my perspective on it as a Jewish person is that, yes, it was very eye-opening and therapeutic to watch it, but they only showed white middle-class Jews on there.
Okay,
and successful ones at that. Like, or like, you know, Adam Sandler and Stephen Fry.
Oh, what, Stephen Fry Jewish?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying, see?
No, there's a lot,
That's what I'm saying, see, I didn't know about David, well, I'm shouting now, but, because David Beckham, I found out about, and I was like, oh, David Beckham was, and when I mentioned that to people, even like certain people, like, I think I mentioned that to Aboudi, and was it Aboudi, or was it, I can't remember, I mentioned it to someone Jewish, and they were like, is he? And like, they didn't even know, do you know what I mean? It's like,
there's loads of us.
Yeah, just everywhere.
It's true. It's true.
I didn't know Stephen Fry's Jewish.
Yeah.
Who else was on the show then?
Who would I'm not very good with celebs.
Oh, right.
Okay.
I saw David Schwimmer.
Yeah,
I saw David Schwimmer was on there, and I can't remember a couple of others. Like Ruby, with Ruby Wax.
She is Jewish.
Yeah, I mean
she's more like you can tell.
You can tell.
She's got Jewish energy.
Yeah, right. So there's Miriam Margolis. You know she's actress, British actress.
Okay.
And like, you know, there's Maureen Lipton, and so like you could kind of tell. They were like, but I don't know why you could tell they were Jewish. But
some people have more of the energy than others. It depends where you've grown up. But they only show, so everyone was white middle class, apart from there was one black guy who was clearly middle class, and there was one light skinned sort of mixed race woman. But the Jewish diaspora is so much more than that. Like, it's, you know, there's like Jews in Morocco, like Berber Jews, or like there's Ethiopian Jews, for example, Arabic Jews, tons of Arabic Jews, like all over the world. Massive community in South America, like they don't get a look in, and that's part of the problem. Like, they're not in the narrative. Yeah.
Because, well, that's what I mean, because I guess when people think of that image, it mostly goes to America. You know, I mean, I would think, like, you know, I'm a massive American comedy fan.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd think of, you know, the Seinfelds and, you know, others, you know, and you know, that's always been part, you know, Mel Brooks and people like that.
We get all the representation because we're white.
Right, but you could feel I think you could feel the Jewishness in their comedy, and you know what I mean. And even like there's that talking comedy, which is Talking Funny, I think it's called. It's like Louis C.K., Chris Rock, Ricky Gervais, and Seinfeld, and they're just having a conversation, and then like, you know, like Seinfeld is sort of basically saying, you know, I have a bit of Jewishness in my comedy, but not that much. You know what I mean? Not as much as maybe Larry David or, you know, someone else, or, you know, I mean, I don't really like mentioning Woody Allen because, you know, I mean, gross. But I like, you know what I mean? So, you know.
Love his films though.
Yeah, I mean, you can't knock the hustle in his movies, but it's like, you know, marrying your daughter, it's just like, I mean, it's just, I mean, and it's sort of like, you kind of just, kind of got away with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, I know legally, it wasn't, I mean, I guess legally he didn't do anything wrong, but just morally it felt really bad. And the stuff is to do with Jewish, I'm not saying like Jewish, you know what I mean? But it was just, that was like, that felt more about his whiteness sort of getting away with it. In the same way, like, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis, you know, who married a 13-year-old, and Elvis Presley, and, you know, people like that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, they want to nail R. Kelly to the wall, do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Which, again, they fucking should, don't get me wrong. But it's just like, you know, it seems like one rule for one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, that's the white privilege coming into play.
Yeah, what's his name? The guy who escaped America and... what was his name again? The director. I'm not saying he's Jewish, he's just white though. But he... I thought of his name earlier on as well. It's really annoying. He did Rosemary's Baby and all that. But he, like, sort of raped a woman in America and he just fucked off back to Switzerland and then he's just, like, never returned to America again and just kind of got away with it, you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, Interpol didn't do their job there, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, well, why don't they just go and get him? You know, it just annoyed me. And even, like, you know, Weinstein and, you know, I don't know if he ever even... Has Weinstein still seen Showtime? I don't even think he is.
I don't know, I don't follow it. But I know the story, but yeah, probably not.
Whereas Cosby definitely did. You know what I mean? And I'm, you know, and I'm not, you know, I'm not, again, it's not about the Jewishness there.
Yeah, I feel like it's more about the whiteness.
There's the whiteness there, you know what I mean? It's not really about the Jewishness there, you know. But having said all that, it's been, I've loved it, and I'm just waiting for all my invites to the next Jewish holiday.
Yes,
whenever
you keep hankering to come to get to. Like,
I want to go, man. I want to see what it's about.
Okay.
Because I know,
you should meet my mum. She'd love that. She'd love you.
Oh, well, that's great.
She'd love you so much.
Well,
anyone that cares about the Jews, like, we're just like, we're here for you.
So let me know, like, so what would it? Sorry, excuse my ignorance, but what would it be then? Would it be Hanukkah?
Well, there's all kinds of celebrations.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
So you can come every Friday. I mean, there's like,
right, okay.
And I grew up. Yeah. Like, by the way, like, so you know my Jewishness. So like, I grew up going to synagogue.
Right.
My mum teaches rabbis.
Your mum teaches rabbis.
Yes.
Go on.
She keeps kosher with her fiance, her current fiance, who is like the chair of the Hebrew Order of David.
Wait, so her fiance is the chair of
Yes.
Right, so so your mum's like a super Jew then?
Yes.
Like, right, okay.
It's kind of interesting, because this has all shaped my view of being Jewish. So so there's that side of it. So she's like literally a professor of like Jewish feminist theology. So
damn.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
So she is incredible woman. So I've grown up in this very Jewish environment, but I was born in Cheltenham.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So this is interesting, right?
So that's not a particularly.
It's the least diverse person.
Yeah. It's just a horsey. Is it a horsey place?
Yeah, it's there is that, yeah.
Right,
it's a bit more nuanced than that, but it's pretty dead. It's pretty dead.
Yeah. So what was that like?
So it was interesting.
Don't lie.
Okay. So, like I grew up not surrounded by diversity at all, which I think has partly formed my interest in it now.
Yeah.
But I was very much the only Jew.
The only Jew in the village.
The only Jew in the bloody village. And it was in the time of Little Britain and, you know, and Catherine Tate and South Park, when it was absolutely perfectly fine to mock Jewish people and all kinds of other, like, minority things.
Yeah.
So I grew up, and this is a mad story, right? So I grew up being called... So okay, right, start again. So there was a black guy who people called Black Sai.
Black Sai. His name was Simon.
Yes. There was a gay guy called...
Sigh, why'd you let him do it, man? I hate that. Anyway, so in the rural areas where it's like, Black Alan or Black Pete.
No, it's Victorian. There was Gay Joe.
Yeah.
There was Gay Joe. And I was Dirty Jew.
Sorry.
No, it's funny. It's so mad. It's actually funny.
You know what? Black Si, you got off lightly. It's alright. Si, it's fine. I'll take it back. It's alright. They didn't call you Dirty Black Si. Do you know what I mean?
But that's why it's interesting. Right, it's an interesting story.
Okay, yeah.
Because he would have had a harder time.
Yeah.
Being like the only black in the village.
Okay. Yeah.
But so he would have had it harder.
Yeah.
But they didn't dare call him Dirty Black Si.
No.
So yeah.
Because there's sort of like it's weird. There's sort of like it's sort of like acceptable levels of racism,
right?
With certain things, like with ginger. I've noticed with ginger people, like there's just shout out Voice MC. I love you, but like you know what I mean. It's like no, because he was talking about. I remember I love him to bits, and I'd love him to come on, but he doesn't really want to come. He doesn't like being interviewed.
Okay.
But he as a ginger man, you know what I mean. He just gets a whirl of abuse.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know, he's a redhead. It's like
yeah.
What? How is that okay? It's
definitely,
just not okay. It's
but
definitely not
because
okay.
He's white and stuff like.
It's sort of like you kind of go. Well, he's kind of just whatever, but but I think it depends on what country you're in because he got it, and he explained that he used to get it. But I remember going with him to Latvia, and he was like Jesus out there, man. Like it's like Ginger Jesus, because he was just everyone was just like, oh, you know what I mean? It was swooning over him. And it was like, so he was like, yeah, I might stay out here, bruv. Do you know what I mean? I was like, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? So I think it just depends, you know what I mean, where you are. It's like, being a black British guy in America before 9/11, right? And before Idris Elba. Like, do you know what I mean? Because if you... No,
oh, wait,
great.
where are you what do you mean?
Well, because when I went to America,
yeah,
as soon as you opened your mouth as a black guy and an English accent came out...
Okay.
Mate, it's just everyone was putting it in your hands. Didn't matter what gender, you could just manipulate anyone into doing anything really, and it was great. But in 9/11 happened, and then you had fucking Idris, and he fucking ruined it. And then now we're not special anymore. It's just like, do you know what I mean? He fucked it. I fucking hate Idris Elba. I don't hate Idris Elba. He's alright, but he shouldn't have been James Bond. He can't have been Bond. But anyway, so I'm digressing. So Cheltenham, only during the village.
Yes.
And you were the dirty Jew.
I was the dirty Jew.
Right, okay.
So that I grew up with for years.
Yeah.
Like I almost embraced it. It was like weirdly affectionate, and I sort of went along with it, and I played up to it, and I was like, yeah, we're stingy, and like it was quite fucked up. Like this is what I'm saying. Like it's quite deep. So like it's been quite therapeutic to prepare for this talk because it's made me actually realise a lot of this stuff that I've just sort of buried. So there's that element of my identity, but then what else? So I've also with my serious note. No, it's fine. That bit is funny, but so my family are not Holocaust survivors,
right? Okay.
And that's really important to mention because I have not inherited that trauma,
right? Whereas
some of your other Jewish friends might have, and like growing up in Jewish communities, mine was very different. So like. My family, on my mum's side, we're Ashkenazi Jew, which means Eastern European.
Right, okay.
And like we came over from Russia, like a part of Russia, which is now Ukraine, but it was Russia at the time. We escaped persecution just before the turn of the 20th century.
Right.
We came to Brick Lane, to those like townhouses when they were slums.
Yeah.
And my family was like in a room, like, and it had to like share one room between a lot of people, and then we worked our way up and we become middle class Jews because we were in the UK. The UK fought off the Nazis, so we did not have fascism like other countries in Europe. So therefore the fact that I'm not a child of an immigrant, like our ancestors are immigrants, but my mother and her mother were not immigrants, like that has shaped our experience.
So your mum was born here as well?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're like Anglo Jews, so
okay.
like that has very much shaped our experience.
Right.
I've got other friends who have their parents have come over from other parts of Eastern Europe, like just after the Holocaust, and they have had a lot more inherited trauma. So that's just, that's just all I'm trying to do here is just show how my experience of being Jewish is very different to others.
Yeah.
And how that shaped my views, and also, as I mentioned before, probably meant that I have internalized quite a lot of anti-Semitism because of where I grew up in Cheltenham.
So when you say internalize it, it means you just sort of just almost took it on board, like, and just sort of like...
Yeah. And I do have quite a lot of criticisms of the Jewish religion, which I don't want to say on air because I don't want to actually reinforce anything.
Yeah.
But like with Israel, for example, I've got a complicated relationship with it, and it's only really since, like I said, preparing for this talk that it's made me look into a lot of things and just deep it more. So it's been very therapeutic. Well. Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Sorry about that.
No, it's great. It's actually really... I've got a complicated relationship because obviously, as you know, like, most of my friends these days are in the black community. Yeah. So I've got a different perspective to a lot of other Jews as well. And that's made me more hyper aware of my privilege and where I come from. So, it's just made me... I was kind of like brushing my Jewishness under the carpet and just thinking about my whiteness, when actually it's like I've kind of forgotten about the Jewish side of it and how significant that actually is.
It is.
And why that's shaping my experience and my interest in other cultures and wanting to write about it. I'm always writing and talking about other cultures, but I always hide my own. Yeah. So this is why it's been quite important to me to have this conversation. Yeah. And sort of come out as Jewish.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was joking with Benny B, because I was like, oh, you know, can we have like a, you know, Jews for Jungle? I don't know. That sounds terrible.
It doesn't sound sexy though, does it?
It doesn't sound sexy at all. I'm sure there's probably a spin on it that we could do, but something, you know, I've got Black Jungle Alliance. You know what I mean? There's 50. I'm not saying you have to do it Jewish per se, but I don't know. It just feels like if, and it's like I've said this to both Aboudi and Benny. You know, like, I sometimes feel like you guys should be like, yeah, I'm Jewish and what? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
That's what I want to do. Yeah. Say it with my chest.
Yeah, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, because it's like, you know, it feels like that if that happened more, then maybe more people would be aware and care about it, because they'll just know, you know, that maybe someone next to them is that, and then they'll just, you know, they won't just come out with shit so easy. So it's like, you know, some of my white male friends who have dated, you know, women from, you know, outside, you know, like women of colour, for example. You know, I mean, without naming names, a very, very well-known producer in the scene. You know, his wife is essentially Pakistani. Okay. And I remember him telling me how, because of how he looks as well, you know, he's very blue-eyed and, you know, and you know, he had experiences where, you know, he'd be around certain kind of other white man and they'll be talking about Pakis and whatever. And it's like, well, you know what I mean? He'd have to check people and sort of say, no, you know, my girlfriend's fucking, what are you doing? And then you know, just by seeing another white man defend that culture, it made them think about what they were doing. Do you know what I mean? In that moment. And it didn't have to be a person of colour or a person from that actual demographic to actually check them. It could just be from an ally, you know what I mean? So, you know, I know now, you know, and I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, people have emailed me some interesting videos and different things, you know, since my chat with Aboudi.
Can I just say, shout out to both of you for having that chat?
Yeah, no, shout out Aboudi. We've been still continue today. Yeah, I love him.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah,
because he was very brave.
Yeah,
he was saying an unpopular opinion, and I respect it.
Yeah,
I really respect it. So shout out.
He's really about it, and he's very much about his faith, and I really respect him for his faith and his dedication and his view. And that's the thing.
I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but I respect it.
You respect it, and you don't. That's the thing.
And it aligns more with like my family's view, actually.
Right. Okay.
So I could relate to what he was saying. Yeah. So I rate it.
And that's the thing, we're missing that a little bit from, you know, society. I think now it's got to a point where, you know, as soon as someone hears something about you, they hear that one piece, they hear that one factor, and they just build all this other stuff in with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my classic one was, you know, sort of confessing to watching a Joe Rogan podcast. You know, and I was on Bumble and women just suddenly deleted me because, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you know, it's like, well, hold on a minute. So and this is a woman of colour she did, you know, I was telling you, and she's a woman of colour, she just said, oh, would you support racism? And delete. And it's like, okay, well, he's said problematic things, definitely, and he's admitted to it, and he's owned up to it, and he's apologised. And we all got time to grow. We all say stupid things, and I'm not going to defend him saying what he said, but I will support him in his attempt to grow and change. And I think you know, everyone keeps telling me, you know, certain organisations within our scene have been trying and have been learning and have been ning and all these ning words. Yeah. So I'm supposed to just be like, cool, apparently now. But it's cool. I don't see any fucking change. But, you know, but they're all right. But, like, I can't, like, watch Joe Rogan, apparently. And it's just a bit weird. And, like, you know, artists, people I respect, you know, sort of lost respect for me because they heard that about me. And it's like, it's a bit weird because of what they do then. They just build in all this stuff. And, like, you know, if you say, for example, I don't, you know, I mean, this is what we're going for a bit of chat. But if you say, for example, you know, you're not sure if you're on, so for example, if you're not on board with the idea of abortion, right? Okay. Say, for example, right? Yeah. Okay, now I know it's problematic. Well, I know it's problematic for me potentially to say that as a man. I don't really think that, I think that it should be available. I think it should happen, but I just don't like this idea where people are trying to say that a fetus is not a baby. I just don't like where they're trying to sort of like make this differentiation. I think if you leave that fetus, it's going to become a baby. That's all I'm saying. But I've said that to friends of mine and they've immediately called me a Republican. And I'm like, what? Wow. A Trump supporter. I'm like, wait, hold on a minute. No. It should be available. Women should be able to have abortions. I'm just saying that. But I'm just saying, can we not say that a fetus is not a baby? I'll just say, can we not say that? I just feel a bit weird saying that. Yeah. You know what I mean? As a father, as seeing my son as a fetus, you know, and then now he's 11 years old and running around and beating me at Fortnite and stuff. You know, I just feel like we can't, you know, but I get why someone would hear me say this now and think that I'm some sort of Christian nutjob that doesn't want, you know, like a rape victim to be able to get an abortion when she needs one. Of course she should be able to get one. I'm not against the idea of women being able to have one. Yeah. But can we just stop this idea where we're trying to sort of like make out like a fetus isn't a potential person? Do you know what I mean? It's just weird to me. It's weird. It's not That's all deep. I'm saying.
It's not even that deep.
I don't think it's really that complicated.
I don't know
Esteban, idiots.
People are going to think,
because he's been arguing with me for 2 years. Like, and he's got 3 kids, and it's like, bruv, like, come on, man. Do you know what I mean? But anyway,
each to their own.
Each their own.
It's not that deep. I don't really care. I still love him.
I still love him.
I don't
it don't
care
matter.
whether it's.
But he's called me a Trump supporter, like because you know, because.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you talking about, bruv? I'm just saying. It just don't make sense to me to be able to say it's a potential, it's a potential life. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't make me Ben Shapiro. I'm not saying, you know, I want to stop everyone to do it, but I'm just saying, can we just stop saying it's not? Anyway, whatever. So, and this is the thing, we sort of got to this point now where, you know, well, it's like what I said, you say one thing and everyone builds in a bunch of other stuff next to it and then you're immediately cast out and the conversation stops. Yeah. And I just think like, I should be able to disagree with a fundamental point with someone and still be their friend. Like, you know, I live here with Dave, Subject 13. He's a man of God. I am not. Like, you know, there's things that I do in my life that he fundamentally, I mean, you know, to use his term, thinks it's demonic, right? But we still live together and he's one of my closest friends. And, you know, I really value that because it shows that there's a level of nuance and intelligence to him and who he is. And I think by having certain types of conversations, he's learned, I've learned, and we've both benefited.
There you go.
Rather than just sort of go, no, fuck yeah, I'm just going to just, like, do you know what I mean? That's it, I'm done with you. And away you go. So
sometimes you've got to do the ugly work and have that.
You got to just have that tough. You've got to have that tough conversation. And sometimes it's not even that tough because the conversation we've had have never descended into any kind of like, you know, crazy name calling or anything, you know, like that. You know, it's always been respectful. You know, and like I said, there's big fundamental things that we disagree on, like really, really. But I love him to bits, and that's the same. And like Esteban, you know, I mean, we I'm joking, cussing him out, calling him out, but you know. We disagree about certain things, and you know, but we're still close friends. So I wish there was more of that. You know what I mean?
Definitely agree.
You know,
Facts.
So, let's get off that. Just for now.
Yeah.
Unless there was something more you wanted to say. Any more declarations you wanted to make?
Any more declarations? I think that's it. I think just before we move on, just want to thank you again for like opening this conversation up. Is huge. Is really big. And to anyone who's still like listening, I would just say like speak to as many different Jews as possible. Because that is my view. That's my experience.
That's what I try to do.
Yeah. Same with you always say like have as many black friends as possible. It's right though because I've
get
got
a Jew friend. This is it.
Get a Jew friend. There's one right here if you want one.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that.
Yeah.
No, you don't want that.
Yeah, Jewish friend, I should say. Jewish friend sounds a bit weird. Yeah.
See what? Yeah, that's a funny one. Louis C.K. brought that joke up. He sort of said like how the word Jew can be
an insult.
An insult, but also just a classification. But you just got to put a bit of stink on it, and then it's all of a sudden it's an insult. You know what I mean? But anyway, Louis C.K. does it better than I do.
No, I think that's it. I think we've covered the Jews, the Jewish stuff.
The Jewish stuff,
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you for that.
So, graffiti.
Yeah, okay.
Graffiti.
Yes. Another part of my identity.
Another part of your identity.
One that I've been much more public about.
Much more public about.
Yes.
Where did the love of graffiti come
Lockdown.
from? Oh, really? It all started... Because I remember, is it Rahel as well? She is very much into sort of like graffiti stuff as well, Shout out Rahel. Hope you're well.
Shout out Rahel.
Yeah.
My girl.
Yeah, she's lovely. She did my press shots. She's amazing. She made me look gorgeous. Somehow, I love her to bits because she made me look lovely. So
she did. She did.
I know. Somehow, yeah. Thanks, low key calling me like Butters, but yeah, it's like she did a really good job, Chris. Like shit, you actually managed to look human. Yeah, sorry. So, how did that start? Where did that come from?
I was living with dead people in lockdown. Like really dead people.
Can we cuss them?
Yeah. Very different values. To give you an example, they had a calendar of the Queen in the kitchen.
Ooh, okay.
Like weird.
Okay.
Yeah, very different.
You know, each their own. I know there's some pretty strong royalists around, but okay.
It was just tough living in lockdown with them. It was like in a tiny flat with no living room. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. And I just needed something underground. I needed a release. I started off doing it illegally. Yeah. Just bought a pen, did some shit tags, just about, and it just gave me so much thrill to do it in lockdown. Okay. Like just to get out there and just be rebellious, just like feel a sense of freedom and feel something, like feel some adrenaline. Yeah.
So you were like you're sneaking around like
in broad daylight. I was so.
Oh, you weren't doing the real graffiti shit like at night.
No, but I did.
You built up.
But I was just doing it on my own. And no one was encouraging me. I was absolutely crap. Oh my god, my early stuff was looks like a child did it. So it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
It's like doing DJing or skateboarding 100%. Or anything you've got to learn from
10,000 hours, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So I was just doing weird, crappy childlike tags. Some of which are still there, which is embarrassing.
Can you say what your tag is? Are you allowed to say? Or was that
I mean, I started off, it was a bit shit. It was Stay Fresh.
That's a bit shit, sorry.
It was, it was shit.
Yeah,
but it was fun. It was fun to just tag it up. And I've been on a journey with it, and I don't do it illegally anymore.
Right.
Since getting more in the scene, I've seen how people get arrested, people get put in prison, get in court. Yeah. And I've got too much to lose. I'm a professional woman, do you know what I mean? So
there was a story about... Sorry, you just made me think of something. Yeah. There was an artist on Good Looking Records called Rantoul from Newcastle. Have you heard the story?
No.
I believe... Please someone confirm or deny if this is true, because this is what I heard secondhand. I don't know if it's true. But I heard he went away for graffiti. Probably. He was Rantoul. If you look him up, he's an incredible artist, a good looking record. He made some amazing tunes in that sort of 98, 99 era. There was that sort of late, very techie kind of sound that good looking started bringing in. And he made some brilliant stuff. And, apparently he went away for graffiti.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Most graffiti
18 months,
have done time.
Yeah, 18 months.
Or been to court.
Yeah.
Or died.
What?
Yeah, on the
Oh no, yeah, on tracks, yeah, getting killed in that. You know what I mean?
It's
and
actually deep.
Yeah, because I guess a lot of artists probably do get die for. Well, I guess you know, you don't want the artists to die for their art, but you know, I guess we do. We do. You know, I mean, I probably would. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, would I die for Jungle? Probably. Yeah, but like, I don't know if I mean, what was great during the Skibbity celebrations, shall we say, of his life, they did some beautiful murals down at Crystal Palace.
They did. I saw.
Shout out Voice MC again for getting that organised.
Yeah,
the Ginger Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But and that was amazing to see because he got like it was funny. He was comparing the 4 graffiti artists to like the sort of like the generation above, you know, of DJs, you know, the sort of thing. It's like, well, that's the Groove Rider, and he's the, you know what I mean? It was quite funny how he was doing it. But I really can't remember their names, so I'm really sorry about that. But my sort of introduction, weirdly, to graffiti was through a producer who used to produce for Madonna.
Okay.
Jelly Bean.
All right.
So, I'm showing me age there now. So, on his album, on the Jelly Bean album, he had loads of graffiti, you know, in the New York. He's from New York, right? Latin American, I think he was. He's from New York. He's a massive graffiti artist. But then he had like all the sort of code, the slang words for all the different things they would do on the back of one of the albums. And I remember reading all that stuff and seeing all that. And then I grew up in Crofton Park, Brockley, South East London, around there. And there was a guy called Known.
Okay.
Who was like really, really well known. You know what I mean? And he famously did a piece of Bob Marley next to Crofton Park. It was Bob Marley. Yeah, next to Crofton Park train station. It was there for years until it got gentrified, and now it's like there's mums with prams fucking sitting around there. But and I think they got another sort of like. So it wasn't. It was a street artist. It wasn't a graffiti artist. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, probably someone from some, you know, from some posh, you know, like school or something who did the picture.
Yeah.
So it looks very good, but it just doesn't have that same earthiness to it. But graffiti was always around. It's always part of like the hip hop culture for me. But it's not something I would ever kind of like go out and do. I mean, why do you think people, you know, risk their lives and, you know, time, you know, freedom?
Okay, this is my view. I think the graffiti scene is traditionally, the illegal graffiti scene is actually very toxic.
Okay.
It's majority a bunch of like white guys who do it.
So that's here, right?
In London. I can only talk about London.
Yeah.
Very different around the world.
Yeah,
very
I think so.
But in London, it's about getting your name up.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite a lot about ego.
Yeah.
And competition.
Yeah.
It's a sport.
Right.
It's a competitive sport.
So it's about getting your name in the highest points as possible.
Which I respect. I love it. I follow it.
I
watch all the shutters and I see all the beef. Like, I love watching it.
Yeah.
But, so I think that's one side of it for sure. I think it attracts a lot of like addicts and people who are recovering from like, or who have maybe mental health problems as well, because it's a great release, which is why I loved it in lockdown so much. But I'm trying to do something different with it, like bringing more women into it, 100%. and making it more something that accessible. Like you've mentioned to me, even that your son wants to get. I'd love to like, you know, do a little session with him and make it. This is very different to what real graffiti is about, but I like, you know, just making it more of an art jam. And a lot of real graffiti writers won't agree with that, and that's fine. Yeah, that's their view. I respect what they're doing, but I'm doing something completely different. You got to evolve it in different ways. Because when the Respect and oh god, it's so bad that I've forgotten both their names right now. The Devon Road. Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny. Sorry, thank you, Kenny and Ree.
Yeah.
When they did their music for Minds. At Fox and Firkin, there was a guy there who was doing sort of like graffiti workshop, and Jake just fell in love with it. I've forgotten your name, mate. I'm really sorry, but you were amazing. You gave Jake a whole bunch of paints, and I think like his mum took him off him, hit him in a garage very quickly because she didn't want him sort of like painting the walls at their house in Hertfordshire. But like my son loves art. He does animation. I mean, he does the animation the intro for this
exactly
for the podcast.
Yeah, and spray paint is an amazing medium,
Right, okay.
and it's really fun. Like, and I just want to get more people involved in it, and it doesn't just have to be exclusive for these like men. Like, let's make it something powerful, because there's something very ancient about writing on walls and like writing positive messages. Like my girl Gabriella and Agatha, they're from Sao Paulo. They come from favelas and they're living in London now. They're my friends, and we went and did graph, and like they Gabriella painted a message. She's never picked up a spray can before, but she wrote like joy is revolutionary.
Wow, okay.
And then Agatha did like this like female goddess.
Yeah.
And they probably would never have done that before because they'd be too scared. They feel like it's not a space for them.
Yeah.
So like just bringing different kinds of people in
Yeah.
is a really powerful thing, and like painting together on the wall. So yeah, we're trying to change up. I'm trying to change it up.
Have you been to Berlin?
Yeah.
There's a park there that has like that massive long space where it's a free.
Oh yeah,
free wall.
Yeah. See, I do all those things in London,
Yeah,
but I'd
yeah.
love to go and do it in Berlin.
Yeah, it was really cool to see, because because Jake came with me, and obviously we walked up this hill. I forgot the name of the park. Deanna, shout out to you. And it was beautiful, and just see. I mean, there was like 30, 40. I mean, I want to say. I think I would want to say maybe a third of them were women. Actually, there was quite a few women doing it as well.
Great.
So it's obviously
changing. Yeah. And
yeah,
100%. And like getting, for example, like Raphael and Decibella in.
Oh, Decibella.
Decibella's sick.
Is she?
Yes.
Okay. So
She's
she can
just
DJ.
started. She's got it.
You got it.
She's got it. Like both Raphael and Decibella have got it way more than I had it.
Yeah.
But then I didn't have any encouragement or anyone to do it with me.
Yeah.
So like I will say that, like, although I might not be as skilled as like say Raphael is, like it's been amazing to see them, and like the way we all do it together is really powerful.
Well, that's amazing.
So
man.
yeah, just the power of encouragement and female encouragement is a beautiful thing.
So how can... Right, so let me ask, actually, just because this is what I love about this podcast, because sometimes it feeds off into new ideas. So that is a traditionally male space. Music production is a traditionally male space.
Sure.
How can... Have you thought about how... Well, you probably haven't, I'm asking you the question now though, but how can we maybe empower more women to start producing music in jungle? I know it's a big question. It's probably a bit too big. No. It's just I just want to know your ideas if you haven't thought about it.
I just think we all need to big each other up more. Like I've like just like if I spot someone who I listen on SoundCloud all the time, mixes, and I would just tell girls if they're good and like make friends with them. Yeah. Like Monique, my girl Monique.
Okay.
Shout out if you're listening, babe.
Yeah.
Like she's someone that I found on SoundCloud and Instagram, and she's like a sick jungle DJ. She plays ragga jungle, right? And like I've just now become friends with her, and like now like Darren's booked her for influences, and like she's closing for. I'm not taking any credit for this, but like she's like closing for Interplanetary Criminal next week. Okay, like she's getting really big really quick. She's been very inspired by it.
And what DJ is that? What's her name? Virgo.
Yeah. But I know that we've definitely...
But that's a DJ, because there's a lot of things.
There is, but she's also producing.
Ah, brilliant.
And she's studying music. But like, just... I know for sure that, like, and she would agree, like, you know, our friendship has inspired both of us. Because we inspire each other and we encourage each other. And I'm always commenting on her mixes. And I booked her for my event as well.
Oh, fantastic.
And, like, I just think, like, if you can kind of... Like EQ50 are good at doing this, 100%. Like recruiting people.
Yeah, shout out EQ50.
Yeah, shout out EQ50 and just like mentoring and just like bringing people in and using your connections in a positive way to bring people up. Yeah. And Monique's talented, like she would have this anyway, but I know that, you know, I've introduced her to Stretch, she sent her records, like things like that. It just makes a really big difference if we can all use our own connections a bit more.
Okay. Well, I'm aware of her now, so put me in touch.
She's amazing. Yeah,
she's amazing. That'd be great. Yeah, I'd love to meet her. Maybe get her on the... Get up here, let's find out. Because I mean, can I ask how old she is?
She's 21.
See, that's what it's about. Yeah. That's what I mean. We need it to be... Yeah. You know, can't just be fucking old grumpy cunts like me. It's got to be... We've all been old but not obsolete, you know what I mean? But you know, we need more encouragement for our younger.
Yeah, it's
journalistic
encouragement.
brothers and
I
sisters.
think it's that.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the word encouragement. Because when you're young and a bit younger, you know, encouragement goes a really long way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that with, you know, we had Evan, Daniel's on here, you know, Red X, and I mean, you know, it's so pleasing to see him, you know, push and progress and just know that, you know, he's still relatively young. There's so much time he's got to develop and grow, and he's already so talented. And there's, you know, some of the artists I know, you know, all under sort of about 30, they're producing and making some amazing music right now. And I really hate, you know, I've said this before, you know, I dislike that sort of lack of support. My peer group, or, you know, maybe not so much my peer group, but some of the older lot, you know, sort of like kind of dispel, you know, disregard the younger junglists who are coming down and coming out, and not really giving them any support or proper support. It's just not. Oh, it annoys me. It really does. I'm trying not to rant, but like, you know what I mean. It just really irritates me. We just got to show some support, and like, it's something that I need to try and sort of do more of. I don't think I've really been doing enough to support the younger cats.
Yes, come on.
So
there you go.
So, Rave Report.
Yeah.
Why is it called that? And what was where did the idea for it come from?
Okay, so it's called Rave Report because I was at a rave and someone came up with the idea of Rave Report.
Right.
In a rave, which is the perfect place. The idea started because I just had a really hard breakup.
Okay.
And I was on a glow up.
Right, you said that before.
I know. Why do I always glow up after breakups?
What's the glow up? What's the glow up?
It's because basically I was.
Is that when you get your hair did and stuff?
Yeah, but also more like inner glow as well as outer glow.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I it was a difficult relationship towards the end, and my energy was vibes. So I just come out of and I just felt like amazing because I was like free and like. He was a lovely guy, in case he's listening, but like it wasn't. It was just it needed to end.
Right, okay.
It needed to end. So this was in 2019, and I was just my energy was on point, and I was connecting with a lot of people in a friendship way on dance floors, and I connected with this Saudi girl in London. Who on a dance floor, she had some beautiful moves, and she told me all about the jazz scene in Saudi Arabia, and I was like, "There's a jazz scene!" And she challenged my whole view of what Saudis are. Yeah. And she was like proper like underground and indie and like liberal and just like normal, and like, do you know what I mean? But we all have an idea. So yeah, there was her, and then there was this brother and sister from Mumbai, and they were telling me about the warehouse raves out there and squat parties and stuff like that. What? Exactly.
Oh, actually, I saw that report.
Yeah, ages ago. That was one of my early ones. One of the first ones. Yeah. I just wanted to tell their stories.
Yeah. Okay.
That also, I wanted to get into content and journalism. So I just thought I'll start my own thing. So I did.
And it's always sort of a perspective of sort of rave culture in other places, sort of thing. Is that kind of primarily the edict?
Yeah, but also the local scene as well.
Right, okay.
Yeah, supporting all of you lot and like, you know, our lot, I should say, because our scene.
Yeah,
our scene.
You lot. Yeah. The blacks and the Jews again.
No. I know, when I said it, I was like, I didn't mean it like that.
What are you talking about?
You lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right. Right. Just come on bedroom, just cuss me in my face. Right.
That came out all wrong.
All you lot, you know what I mean?
All you.
Fucking hell, mate. Alright, no, it's alright, it's okay, it's alright, it's fine, it's fine.
You're going to quote me on that.
Yeah, it's like, you lot. Yeah, you don't need to get out of our scene. No, it's fine. Come over here, fucking taking our jungle. But anyway, so, so when you're reporting on us lot, like, you know, you said something. I hope you don't mind me checking you on this.
Go on.
No, I'm not checking you.
I'm not
checking you. Just, but you know, not cool. I don't know what the word. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I'm just gonna repeat what you said. No, I'm not checking. Okay. Because you said you had an issue. Well, not an issue, but you had a bit of conflict because you felt you were centering yourself in relation to, sort of like you felt a bit, sort of not funny, but like conflicted about being a white woman kind of reporting this stuff. I kind of wondered why you said that, because, you know, no one else was doing it. So, like...
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem... Well, I mean, I'm sure people are doing it, but I mean...
What's your view on that? And then I'll tell you my perspective.
What's my view on that?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Someone's got to talk about it. Like, you know, I dated this woman a few years ago after Helen died, and she was writing a thesis on dubstep and grime, and it was quite a substantial thesis. I don't ever know if she actually finished it, to be honest, because we broke up before she got a chance to do it. But she was quite sort of like, well, you know, all of the sort of like intellectual writing on most subcultures or underground cultures tend to be done by white people. Yeah. Right? And she said, like, you know, she doesn't like that, but if she doesn't do it, she's not seeing anyone else necessarily talking about it, which is why I think, you know, Julia Toppin, shout out Julia, is so important, because I love her to bits. Like, she's a god to me. Woman. She's a goddess, because she, you know, sort of probably. I mean, you know, and please correct me. Please add more names in the description, in the comments of other women doing this, or other people. Sorry, writing of colour, writing about this stuff. But you know, she was very adamant to make sure that she was going to be, you know, a sort of like black intellectual who was writing about underground culture. Yeah. And you know, I think I think I'm sort of the opinion someone needs to do it. And I do wish sometimes it was more people of colour. Not that I've got anything against what you're doing. No, but I do sometimes wish. And like people go, well, why are you fucking doing it? Because I'm not a good writer. I can't write. I barely read. Like, I'm a comic fan. I do graphic novels. You know what I mean? So I hope that will change. Yeah. But it does seem strange, and like, you know, I've always felt that a little bit, that once that starts happening too much, we end up with something that's not quite in line with what the original ethos of what that particular underground piece of culture is. So, you know, you got what's his name, the guy that wrote All Crew Must Big Up.
Brian Bell Fortune.
Brian Bell Fortune, thank you.
Just done a rave report. Jacob Tucker just done a rave report with him on my website.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Oh, cool. Brilliant. Oh, I'll check it out. So check it out. So there's that, right? So that's brilliant, and that's really good. I'm glad you said that. Yeah. So that's important, because it had to be someone that was kind of there, you know what I mean, and sort of involved. It wasn't someone like kind of peeking in and kind of go, oh, what are these people doing over here? Do you know what I mean? And like sort of looking at that. And I know you're not doing that. Because I know you're about it. But it's just, I do sometimes wonder, and I'm probably going to sound really not hypocritical, but I fear that if it's not, these things aren't written about by people or recorded about by people that are actually in that scene or associated with the scene. Sure.
Really important.
It loses something, you know what I mean? And I just think, I feel like as though, you know, I mean, I saw in the Financial Times, there was a report on, you know, jungle recently.
Cool.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
In the Financial Times?
Yep, I can send you the article. Shout out to Guy Dennis, thank you for sending that to me. He's an old school friend of mine, he's a journalist, and he was like, Chris, I think you'll find this interesting. And I was
Financial Times?
Yep, I can send you the article.
Okay.
I'll send you the article.
Yeah.
And it was poorly written. It was terrible.
Okay.
Whoever that geezer was, you're rubbish, mate. Rubbish. I mean, you know, you just sort of went, well, there's Groove and Fabia, and then there was Sherelle. And it was just, that was it.
Wow.
It was just like, what? Hold on. And it was like, you know, we haven't had, there's been many attempts at sort of documenting in film the jungle scene, and, you know, some of these documentaries have caused quite a lot of upset. Yeah.
We did our AKO Beats documentary.
I am aware of that, yeah. And I'm sure it's brilliant. But it's you know, I think that needs to happen. I think people need to do their own. I mean, you know, fuck it, maybe I need to do an in perspective one if anyone would agree to be in it. But like,
definitely.
But you know, someone needs to do a reinforced one, someone needs to do a V one, because I think what people try to do, they try to kind of go drum and bass and then try to put it all in an hour, and it's like, you know, not naming any names, UKF, but anyway, but you know, was it UKF or was it Drum and Bass Arena? It was Drum and Bass Arena, wasn't it? Was it DMB? The documentary was Drum and Bass Arena, wasn't it? Yeah, that was, sorry guys, you missed, like, it was terrible, and we all know it was terrible, and even the guys that made it was terrible, and I don't want to slag them off, but it was just so disrespectful. That should have been like a 20-part, you know what I mean, thing, but they just sort of went, again, a little bit like versus Brian G, and then there was Dimension. Do you know what I mean? It was just, you know, it's just this whole thing to get to the point of drum and bass that they understand. And it's like, if you're not going to do, just do a fucking documentary about Dimension then. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's what you really want to do, don't bother putting the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of sort of, as I say, it irritates me, but it saddens me. It saddens me. And again, people are going to say, well, Chris, you could do your own fucking documentary. Yeah, maybe one day I will. Like, you know, shout out to Stretch for doing his AKO Beats documentary. And, you know, I think someone should do something about, you know, Dexter and Lewis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because their contribution to the scene has been massive. You know, there's many people in the scene that need to be kind of lauded and documented.
Yeah. I mean, do you know how we did it? It was in lockdown. Just messaged people, said, can you send me answers to these questions?
Yeah.
And they sent their video responses, and then Esther, oh my girl, she edited it beautifully, done the animations. We put it on YouTube.
Fantastic.
It wasn't a big. It did take like 2 years, but it wasn't a big fucking deal. But it wasn't like a huge production. I think sometimes people worry that you can just do DIY stuff. My magazine that I put out, I just took my articles that I put online, and Chris Dexter designed it. 'Cause he's a graphic designer.
And Dexterized it.
He Dexterized it beautifully.
Yeah, man.
And like, again with like Esther, she's just a really talented video editor. So like, we've got so many talented people in this scene, we all need to collaborate more. So
100%.
like, it's just that simple. Like, people are too scared to put stuff out there and to like do things. But if you just go for it.
Well, that's why I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah, but you had a question exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I rate it.
Well, thank you very much.
I rate it. I love the podcast.
Cheers, thank you. What were you going to say?
You were asking me about me like feeling weird about.
Sorry, yeah. Shit, I fucking digressed, didn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry, I started ranting about fucking thing. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't think you should. Well, basically, I wasn't really going to ask you. I was just going to basically tell you didn't need to worry because ultimately, I'm glad someone's doing it, and it's for the right reasons. It doesn't feel like. I mean, I know it's not. That culture vulture, you know what I mean? I don't feel like there's a culture vulture element. I know there's not a culture vulture element to it, and you know, maybe it's just because I know you personally, so I've benefited from getting to
no one's ever accused me of that.
No, exactly, and I've never really felt that.
I've never
had
any bad feedback.
No,
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing, no backlash.
No. It's not. I've never felt that, and I'll be disappointed in anyone that sort of suggested it.
Yeah, no one has.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, it's important. I think people need to know about the different aspects of where rave culture's gone, because ultimately, you know, not to get all patriotic, but like, you know, it's still very much, it's very much a British thing. I mean, I still feel like drum and bass jungle, you know, is one of the greatest British exports, you know, of the last 100 years. Like, if you think about it, what else has come out of this country? You know, rock and roll, okay, I'll give you that. But apart from that, you know what I mean? It's jungle drum and bass. Because everything else came from America.
Jungle, drum and bass, garage, grime, dubstep.
Yeah, but garage technically is American, in my opinion. Okay. Because that's derivative of house, which is, and again, I would argue, dubstep is derivative of dub, which comes from Jamaica. Right. Do you know what I mean? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion. Yeah. Please feel free to comment if you feel differently. But I feel that, you know, it's even though dubstep was born here, I get it, and you know, and it was, I mean, I think originally it was called Croydon Techno, wasn't it? And you know, because it was obviously come out of one record shop almost. You know what I mean? It's all them guys that had
Black
that mass.
Sheep records,
Black Sheep. Shout.
Is that what it's called? Something like that.
No.
Something like that.
Andy Scopes, rest in peace. What was it called again? The record shop. Oh fuck. I'm gonna have to again.
Yeah.
Every time I do this, I forget something off the moment, and then someone watches it and goes, "You mean fucking blah blah blah?"
Yeah.
That's the one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments because I've forgotten what it's called. But yeah, it was originally called Croydon Techno.
Okay.
The Guardian did an article.
No way.
About Scream, Benga, Walsh, Mala, Koki, all the guys, and then like DMZ and all that sort of stuff. And it was it was called Croydon Techno.
Wow.
Which then became Does It. Yeah. And I got a shout at Neil Schulerman, who rest in peace. He unfortunately passed away a long time ago. He was the guy that told me about dubstep. Like, I'm talking 4 or 5 years before anyone else was talking about it. And we attempted at In Perspective to do a dubstep label called Imprint.
Is it?
Yeah, and the first release was Benga and Walsh. It got to promo. We TP'd it, but then he passed away.
Okay.
So we never actually got to put it out. But yeah, that was very sad. But nevertheless, it so that label sort of died with him really, because I didn't feel confident enough to carry it on because I didn't have any knowledge of it, and sort of like pushed on with In Perspective. But rest in peace, Neil. But it's something that I've always sort of admired the scene. I've always loved what it's become, and I love that it's sort of got a resurgence now. People are sort of getting back into it again. I think it got a bit of a bad rep for a while.
Very much so, yeah.
That's sort of like, I mean, I like the end type stuff. I didn't mind like some of that screechy stuff. Helen was a big fan of it. Sorry, do you want another sweet? I see you looking at my sweets.
Go on then.
Yeah. But I think now it's sort of evolved into something, I mean, I saw some footage of Mala playing in, I think it was Germany somewhere or something like that. He played some wicked sounding tune, do you know what I mean? It's still that typical, that dubstep sound, but it was like, it was dubstep 6.0, you know what I mean? So, long may that continue. But for me, jungle drum and bass has always been kind of quintessentially British. Even though it's taken from everywhere, it's still something that's sort of been exported around the world. But, so what do you want to do with the Rave Report? I mean, do you just want to keep doing the zine? What's your plans? What's your long-term plans?
Yeah, well, it's actually... Yeah, no, I do. It's actually really interesting that you raised the point about me... you don't see it as an issue of me being the centre of the narrative. I've sort of... I don't know, I still feel a little uncomfortable being the centre of the narrative, like being this white woman. So, like, I don't know, I appreciate what you said. But I don't know, I think my plan is to actually decentralise myself a bit and make it more about community. Okay. So just like getting more like up and coming journalists in, like, doing more behind the scenes to bridge culture is like, I think I've benefited from like being like a white blonde woman and like putting my face on the front of it. It's helped it grow. It does, like they blatantly sold copies of the magazine, you know what I mean? Like having me and Esther's face on it. So but I think I'm now that I've used that to get where I am, I think I'm gonna like, well, a bit.
Sorry.
Women like we have a superpower.
No, yeah.
Like a bit of femininity.
100%. No, I'm reminded. I keep thinking of Eddie Murphy jokes because he's talking about if you looked in the dictionary and put white woman, you had a picture of Brooke Shields going like this. He was like the whitest woman in America. He described as anyway. Sorry, carry on. Sorry, I don't know why that popped into my head.
Okay.
Carry on. Shut up, Chris. Yeah.
Where was I?
You and Esther.
Yeah. Just making me part of the brand. I think it has been good for the brand, but I feel like, I want to get more community driven, and because it's all been me on my own doing it, right, okay. But now I want to get more people involved. So in 2023, it's going to be all about community and all about collaboration, and I'm building a strategy for the first time because I'm in a new professional job which is more strategic. So I'm taking all that from marketing and putting it into my own thing. And
is that what you do for a living?
Strategy. Yeah, I'm content manager.
Oh wow! Can I ask who?
Yeah, like a tech company.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
How's that?
It's alright.
It's alright. Pays the bills.
It's good money.
Yeah, it sounds like yeah.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah. No, you got to do the dirty cash, innit?
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it. But you put that foot in my head. I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't going to say it. I didn't want to give you PTSD, do you know what I mean?
Thanks.
But I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah, no,
but you no, don't do that.
It's
Don't
okay.
do that.
I don't mind. No, I'm not. I find it funny. Well, look, there's my internalised anti-Semitism again. Like, haha, I find it funny. Oh God. But no, I know. Yeah, it's fine.
Fuck's sake.
It's okay.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So, fucking hell. Jesus Christ. This is all. That's what I mean. There's no alcohol involved in this edition either.
No, I've only got a chocolate milkshake.
She's got chocolate milk. She's got chocolate milk, and I've got some
You've
sweets.
got pop and sweets.
I've got sweets and sugar. Just bad sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, babe. I can't give up smoking and weed and sugar. Like, do you know what I mean? I've got to keep with one of them for now. But well, I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I know. I've loved this conversation, Chris.
It's been really, really good.
It's been great.
It's been
Thank
lovely
you.
to have you.
It's been therapeutic.
Has it really?
Genuinely.
Okay, well I'll send you the bill. Like, do you know what I mean?
No, but doing the prep, doing the work. I've actually written a blog.
Yeah.
In preparation, which I've missed out quite a few points. I'm reflecting from our chat. Some points, but like I might publish it. I might not. But
okay,
it's like,
I mean, did you want to bring anything? I mean, is there anything? I mean, I know it's sort of going backwards and going forwards, but
we'll finish it there. But I might publish it. But it's like it's about my Jewish identity and my whiteness and some of the paradoxes of privilege being a white Jewish person. So yeah, I might publish it because there are points that I've missed, and that article that I've written covers all of it. So
and what was the name of the documentary again?
The AKO one?
No. I'm sorry.
Oh no,
yes, there is an AKO one. Yeah. Sorry, tell people the name.
Irrelevant.
No.
It's called Jews Don't Count.
Jews Don't Count. That's not the name of the AKO documentary.
Okay, it's called Jews Don't Count.
Like, as far as I know, David doesn't have a problem with the Jews per se. But like,
no, he does not.
He doesn't have a problem with them at all. What am I saying? But what the actual fuck? But no, so Jews Don't Count. It's David Baddiel, isn't it?
Yeah. It's on Channel 4, but watch with caution because it does not represent the whole diaspora of Jews.
Yeah.
But it is enlightening. Even if I disagree with quite a lot of it, it's definitely made me deep a lot of things.
Do you know any black Jews? I mean, like, do you know any black Jews here?
Nah.
Right.
That's what I mean. So it is a minority, but
it
is a minority, but yeah.
Yeah, but apparently to local reports we're gaining on the whiteys after the latest census. Have you not seen? We're up to Black Afro-Caribbean. We're up to 4.2%. Wee, wee.
Let's finish it there.
Yeah. No mention of how many Jews there are though. Interestingly enough, but there you go. You know what I mean? But there you go. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the full handshake.
Full handshake. Thank you, Chris.
All the best. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.